As the evening drapes its cloak over the world, you find yourself engrossed in a worn-out book with profound tales. One of those tales tells the story of Jezebel, a name which rings with an uncanny familiarity and a chilling note. A little fluttering apprehension creeps in your heart, but with a shiver, you shake it off and continue your tread into the unknown. Riding on your insatiable thirst for knowledge, you delve deeper, exploring the tale of this woman whose life's legacy birthed the idea of the Jezebel spirit, an entity known to infiltrate the hearts and minds of individuals, steering them with invisible reins of manipulation and deceit. The resonance with the traits that it latches onto sends a cold ripple down your spine. It's as if you've stumbled upon a veiled part of your own existence, a facet perhaps best left undiscovered. Returning your gaze to the cryptic words sprawled across the book, a morbid fascination takes hold as you unknowingly embark on a journey that draws this Jezebel spirit towards you. It's too late when you realize that you've been lured into its vortex, now a part of your own being, and consuming your entity from within. In time, the chilling effects of the entity began to unravel. Nights fraught with terror give way to days filled with confusion and manipulation. Even your closest allies, the ones you hold dear, become unwitting pawns in a game played by this unseen entity. Your words, laced with the spirit's venom, snap the bonds of love and trust held dear for so many years. Your actions, once guided by compassion, now serve the will of the Jezebel spirit. Hidden behind the veil of your identity, the spirit thrives, steering your life down a path fraught with mistrust, discord, and chaos. Colleagues begin to tiptoe around your unpredictable temper. Aloofness takes root, overshadowing your usually vibrant personality. Your every decision is driven not by your sound judgment, but by an unseen puppeteer pulling the strings. The destructive influence of the Jezebel spirit slowly turns your world upside down. As the spirit's dominion over your life becomes more profound, you find yourself teetering on the edge of despair. Memories of laughter and joy become distant echoes, replaced by distress and melancholy. This spirit, rightly named after the infamous Jezebel, orchestrates your life into a tragic symphony, making it just as gnarled and twisted as its namesake. Your journey into the mystical realm is now not just about understanding the elusive Jezebel spirit, but also about reclaiming the life that rightfully belongs to you. Guided by hope and armed with newfound knowledge, you resolve to dismantle the destructive influence of this ominous spirit, despite the dark path that lies ahead. Because now, your saga, a saga of redemption from the clutches of the Jezebel spirit, truly begins. As the shadows lengthen and the last rays of the sun sweep across the horizon, we stand on the precipice of a chilling exploration. Brace yourself to peer into the unseen realms of spiritual warfare, realms where entities of profound malice lurk, waiting for a chance to pry open the defenses of the unguarded. Tonight, we venture deep into the dark recesses of a malignant spirit that etches destruction and chaos across the tapestry of the unassuming lives it ensnares. The cost of inviting the Jezebel spirit into one's life is steep, and its grip often inescapable. And so we begin an eerie voyage, exploring those unsettling ifs, the conditions through which this potent spirit can seep into your existence. Through this journey, we'll dissect the troubling lore of Jezebel, unveiling the mysteries of the spirit named after her. We'll navigate the twisted passageways of its complex persona, unmasking the ways it breeds turmoil and discord in the lives it commandeers. Choose to join us, and you'll step into heart-wrenching stories of families torn asunder and promising lives tragically derailed by the invisible hands of the Jezebel spirit controlling their actions. Yet even facing such potent malevolence and chaos, remember whispers of hope still twirl in the air. For along with unmasking the spirit, we will also illuminate pathways leading to liberation from its iron grip. As we delve into the shocking realities of the Jezebel spirit, remember, knowledge is power. With this knowledge, we can begin to pry free from the tendrils of the spirit snaking into our lives. Beware, though, the way ahead is fraught with suspense, uncertainty, and eerie revelations. But for those brave enough to confront the mysteries of the Jezebel spirit, this journey promises to be both enlightening and intriguing. The faint-hearted may shudder, while the seekers of truth will vow to continue, even when the path edges towards the realm of the spine-chilling unknown. While we cannot yet see the full scope of what awaits us, we proceed, undeterred, into the enveloping shadow of the Jezebel spirit. In order to completely comprehend the Jezebel spirit, we must journey back in time to the tumultuous era of the 9th century BCE, the setting of our narrative, and the reign of the notorious Queen Jezebel. This era, steeped in biblical history and characterized by religious and political upheavals, provides the backdrop for the epic and tragic saga of Jezebel, etching her name in history as a symbol of manipulation and treachery. Jezebel was born into royalty, the child of Ethbaal, the king of Sidon, who himself was a priest of the deity Astarte. Raised amid the opulence of the Sidonian court, she was imbued with a commanding presence which seamlessly merged feminine allure and royal assertiveness. This commanding nature would later define her as one of the most formidable women of biblical history. Her life took a political turn when she was wedded to Ahab, the king of Israel, in a strategic alliance between two powerful nations. This marriage wasn't merely a union of two souls. It was the binding of political ambitions and spiritual upheavals that would shift the course of Israelite history. With this union, Jezebel didn't simply become a queen consort, but a key player directing the power politics of the era. As queen, Jezebel didn't stay content being a silent figurehead. Instead, she asserted her influence to further her own religious agenda, promoting the worship of the Phoenician deities Baal and Asherah. In a time when the Israelites worshipped Yahweh, Jezebel's fervent push for her native gods was viewed as the ultimate act of defiance and religious treason. She orchestrated the ruthless persecution of Yahweh's prophets, even as she unabashedly pampered the prophets of Baal with luxuries from the royal treasury. Her name became synonymous with spiritual adultery, inciting the wrath of the prophets and becoming the symbol of religious corruption. Perhaps the most haunting of Jezebel's tales is her orchestration of Naboth's murder. Naboth, a vineyard owner, refused to sell his land to King Ahab. Unable to bear the slight to her husband's pride, Jezebel took matters into her own hands. She engineered false charges of blasphemy against Naboth, leading to his execution and the confiscation of his vineyard. This act of treachery showcased the depths of her cunning and malicious scheming, reinforcing her reputation as a woman devoid of empathy and driven by power. Her tremendous sway over King Ahab turned him into a puppet, dancing to her tunes of political manipulation and religious perversion. Jezebel, in turn, reveled in the authority she commanded, even as the kingdom of Israel buckled under her destructive influence. Her reign finally ended with her gruesome death, a prophesied consequence of her defiance against Yahweh's authority. Jezebel's imprint on history didn't end with her death. The potency of her deeds gave rise to the concept of an intimidating spirit bearing her name. The Jezebel spirit is believed to echo her refusal to submit to spiritual authority, her manipulation to control the lives of others, and her complete disregard for moral boundaries. This spirit, even in the present times, is recognized as a potent symbol of spiritual warfare, a manifestation of the dark legacy Jezebel left behind. Therefore, by exploring the historical context of Jezebel's life, we can begin to understand the ominous Jezebel spirit's true menace and influence. Indeed, the Jezebel spirit extends far beyond the confines of the biblical age, its influence seeping through the veils of time, manifesting in our world today. Not bound by physical constraints or restricted to a particular place or culture, this spirit embodies characteristics that echo Jezebel's maligned legacy, weaving a web of destruction and chaos around those it chooses to inhabit. Perhaps the most chilling characteristic of the Jezebel spirit is its insidious nature. It does not barge in with a show of force, but slides into the lives of unsuspecting, vulnerable individuals, manipulating them subtly and deviously. It's this stealth and cunning that cloaks its presence, leading its host to believe that the words they speak and the actions they pursue are their own, while in reality, they are mere puppets in the hands of this invisible puppeteer. The Jezebel spirit bears the sinister ability to manipulate those around its host. It whispers convincingly into their ears, distorting truths and sowing discord. Its primary weapon is control, which it wields with the dexterity of a seasoned embroidery artist, stitching doubts and insecurities into the fabric of their relationships. True to the story of Jezebel, the spirit employs lies and deceit for its nefarious games. Constant rebellion is another key trait of the Jezebel spirit. It thrives on defiance, on resisting rightful authority and order. Just as Jezebel, in her arrogance, challenged the spiritual authority in her time, so too does the Jezebel spirit work, encouraging its host to reject all forms of spiritual guidance and righteous morality. It's also important to note that the Jezebel spirit teeters on the brink of extremism. It's a power-hunger entity, continually seeking further control over its host, relentlessly prowling for more individuals to manipulate, more lives to influence. There are no boundaries to its domination, as it ceaselessly strives to exert its malevolent authority. The Jezebel spirit feeds on fear, chaos, and emotional turmoil. It blossoms within the host who finds themselves in vulnerable situations, where fear, insecurity, or emptiness pervades. Vulnerability is its beacon, drawing this spirit towards potential hosts who unknowingly entertain its destructive presence. The influence of this dark entity is immensely profound. The life of the host undergoes radical changes, relationships splinter, the exterior calm crumbles, revealing a storm of emotional perplexity. It pulls them into a labyrinth, where every turn they make leads to turmoil and hardship. The Jezebel spirit maintains this cycle of manipulation and destruction, thriving in the shadows of its host's life. The malign essence of the Jezebel spirit is indeed dreadful. Yet understanding these characteristics is the first step in recognizing its influence and forming a defense against its menacing power. By acknowledging the silent specter of the Jezebel spirit, we concede to the existence of a complex, unseen realm where forces beyond the palpable vie for control, shaping the narrative of our lives. As we delve deeper into the shadowy realms of the Jezebel spirit, it is crucial to decipher the strategic methods it employs to wreak havoc and maintain dominion over its hosts. These tactics are as intricate as they are sinister, demonstrating the strategic depth of this malevolent entity. An unmistakable hallmark of the Jezebel spirit is the sowing of discord. It thrives within the whirlpools of conflict and misunderstanding, gently fanning the flames of dispute and distrust amongst its host and their loved ones. Within family and friendships, workspaces and religious communities, the Jezebel spirit excels in finding cracks within these fundamental ties, prying them wider with nuisances of suspicion, eventually causing relationships to shatter irreparably. Perhaps the most chilling tactic employed by the Jezebel spirit is its guileful use of manipulation. It coerces its host to wield deceit like a weapon, using it to maneuver situations to their favor. The endgame, however, is never as it seems. The perceived victories are merely smokescreens, camouflaging the real triumph, the Jezebel spirit's assertion of control over its host's life. In tandem with manipulation is the Jezebel spirit's adept use of victimhood. It paints its host as the perennial victim, trapped in the machinations of an unjust world. It extends this narrative to the host's surroundings, convincing them that they are the aggrieved party, relegated to suffer in silence. This tactic serves a dual purpose. Firstly, it isolates the host, effectively disconnecting them from those who might aid them in recognizing and combating the spirit's influence. Secondly, it enables the spirit to strengthen its hold over the host who, beleaguered by a sense of victimhood, becomes more yielding to its manipulative onslaught. This spirit also forges a potent weapon of fear, using it to maintain dominion over its host and keep potential threats at bay. The fear the Jezebel spirit induces is twofold: fear within the host and fear among those in the host's environment. This fear creates a fortress of isolation for the host, cutting them off from potential help and maintaining the spirit's unchallenged dominance. While the tactics employed by the Jezebel spirit are varied, the end they seek to fulfill is singularly disturbing: control and chaos. These underpin the strategies it invents, the environments it thrives in, and the lives it seeks to endanger. The Jezebel spirit orchestrates its sinister game of manipulation, discord, and fear to control the will of its host and spread chaos around them. Unmasking these tactics, however disturbing, is crucial in the fight against the Jezebel spirit. They armed us with the knowledge necessary to recognize, resist, and hopefully repel its influence from our lives. In the calm serenity of the Midwestern heartland, there unfolds a story that defies the imagery of peace and tranquility. The once harmonious Peterson family, admired by their neighbors for their love and unity, endured a gut-wrenching ordeal that swiftly turned their world upside down. This family, like countless others, inadvertently invited the Jezebel spirit into their lives and bore witness as their paradise was razed and harmony replaced with utter chaos. In the bosom of their familial bliss was Mary Peterson, a devoted wife and loving mother, who unwittingly became the victim of this insidious entity. Well known for her gentleness and generosity, Mary began to exhibit a drastic personality shift that no one could comprehend. A previously harmonious household turned into a battlefield, with tensions mounting and voices often raised in heated confrontations. Mary's radiant smile and genuine laughter that once braided the family together seemed lost, replaced by a harshness that sent shivers down their spines. Her words, once soothing melodies, became fiery darts, piercing the hearts of her husband and children. The woman they had known seemed encased in an armor of rudeness and rebellion, showing an egregious disregard for empathy. Behind closed doors, Mary turned into a coercive figure, using fear and manipulation to wield power over her once beloved family. Family meetings, which used to be a safe space for open discussion, turned into sessions of dictation where only Mary's voice reigned and her words became law. Her husband, Jack Peterson, bore the brunt of this drastic transformation. Jack, who once stood as the head of the family, found himself sidelined, his input neglected, his position undermined. His role at the heart of his family was usurped, leaving him a spectator in his own home. He felt helpless and dejected, watching helplessly as an invisible entity held sway over his family's warmth and infiltrating every aspect of their unity. The ripple of this destructive influence found its way to the children as well. Their mother, once the symbol of compassion and understanding, now projected an air of tyranny they struggled to comprehend. This drastic change in their home's atmosphere cast a dark shadow over their lives. Everyday activities were tense, filled with apprehension in anticipation of the next discord. Their home had become an enigmatic labyrinth with the Jezebel spirit at its center, leaving them yearning for the warmth that once defined their family. This familial saga, seemingly torn from the spine of a horror tale, is a chilling testimony of the manipulation, control, and discord that the Jezebel spirit is capable of fostering. Caught within its tight grip, the Peterson family found themselves fraying at the seams as they struggled to comprehend and combat this unseen adversary capably of tearing their world apart. Nestled amidst the steel and glass towers of New York City, another narrative of the Jezebel spirit takes root. This tale concerns itself with the successful and driven entrepreneur Anthony Cooper. Known for his gregarious charm and astute decision-making, Anthony had climbed the ranks of the corporate jungle swiftly, standing tall as a testament to determination and ambition. However, unbeknownst to him, he was circling on the periphery of a malevolent spirit that sought to unravel his life. As the founder and CEO of a thriving tech giant, Anthony's life was a high-paced whirl of meetings, ideations, and decision-making. His dedication and visionary ideas had earned him nothing but admiration from his peers and employees. Yet underneath this veil of success, the first ominous ripples of change were beginning to surface. The warmth and camaraderie that once made him a beloved figure started to fade, replaced by a sudden assertiveness that bordered on the aggressive. His once democratic approach, that he was highly praised for, made way for a commanding dictatorship. Employees began to reel under his unyielding authority. The once vibrant corridors of his company began to echo with unease and trepidation. Anthony too noticed these changes in himself, but was unable to attribute them to any logical reason. His business strategies, once marked by innovation and empathy, now teetered on the edge of ruthlessness. His personal relationships started deteriorating. A once loving and caring partner and friend, Anthony was turning into a recluse who showed little regard for the feelings or aspirations of his loved ones. Despite the challenges he faced, his empire flourished. But as the walls of his ivory tower grew taller, he felt increasingly isolated, his life no longer his own. His arrogance burgeoned, and he distanced himself more and more from his loved ones. His single-minded pursuit of power and a controlling attitude towards his employees and family painted a disconcerting picture, drawing parallels with the working of the Jezebel spirit. Brilliance and charisma had carried Anthony to the pinnacle of success, but an unseen force seemed eager to derail him from his path. As his life began to crumble under the influence of the Jezebel spirit, the saga of his rise and possible fall serves as a chilling reminder of the disruptive potential of this entity, capable of seizing even the most resolute amongst us. In the gentle heartlands of America lies the small town of Harmony Creek, a collection of picket fence homes, friendly neighbors, and the robust but tight-knit community. Orlando, with its annual summer fairs, dazzling winter festivals, and heartwarming potluck dinners, Harmony Creek echoed that quintessential small-town charm. However, this idyllic calm witnessed a series of bewildering incidents that upended the tranquility and replaced congenial bonds with visceral fear. The harmony began to rupture, with disputes springing like weeds amidst the community. Neighborhood watch meetings that were once jovial and constructive became breeding grounds for spats and bitter feuds. The kinship which acted as the invisible hand guiding Harmony Creek seemed to dissipate, replaced by a thick layer of suspicion and contempt marring relations and friendships. The local council, once a beacon of democratic values, started to reshape under uncanny leadership. New faces wielding growing power phased out old advocates of peace and balance. The discord was stoked further as peculiar ordinances were passed, upending long-standing harmony with intrusive rules and regulations that roused the community's collective ire. At the heart of the town was the amiable Reverend Jenkins, a man revered for his wisdom and compassionate service at the local church. Yet the once humble servant of God began to display an unsettling shift in demeanor. His sermons, formerly filled with love and guidance, metamorphosed into speeches of slackened morality, polarizing ideologies, and baffling theories that divided the congregation. Gossip, the poison of any small town, began to flow through the veins of Harmony Creek. Whispers of treachery echoed through the once harmonious town, sowing seeds of mischief and discord. Family feuds rekindled, old grudges resurfaced, and the calm of Harmony Creek was pierced by a wave of unease and unhappiness. As tensions escalated, strange occurrences plagued the town. Scattered cases of livestock dying unexplained deaths, odd weather patterns confining residents indoors, and an uncanny amount of birds hitting the windows of many homes exacerbated insecurities. The equilibrium of the habitat seemed disrupted, haunting the town with unsettling omens. Though seemingly unconnected, the series of troubling events appeared to follow an eerily similar script, one of manipulation, discord, and defiance of the traditional norms. These signs, awfully affirming, pointed towards an unsettling presence, a wisp of the Jezebel spirit wrapped around the community. The crisis rattled the foundations of Harmony Creek, transforming it from an epitome of peace to a chessboard of the unseen adversary. This unsuspecting town had fallen into the labyrinth of the Jezebel spirit, its tranquility shattered, its unity threatened, a lingering reminder of the spirit's pervasive, damaging, and implacable nature. The Jezebel spirit is no simple phantom to grasp. It's inherently complex and subtle, often finding its way through pathways you may least expect, exhibiting its influence in various forms and spaces. Its entry is not often signaled by a symbolic caw of a raven or an ominous wind sweeping across your path. Instead, it embeds itself silently, its presence manifested through telltale signs that change the course of lives and send ripples of disharmony. One of the primary channels that can attract the Jezebel spirit is an unchecked desire for power and control, most visible in spaces of leadership and authority. In these realms, it seeks those who rule with a clenched fist, where empathy gives way to domineering tendencies. Those in positions of power could unknowingly attract the Jezebel spirit through misuse of that power, employing ruthless tactics to persist at the top, acting without considering the moral consequences. Anthony's story rings with this truth, his relentless drive for success and unbridled pursuit of power in business inadvertently acting as a magnet for this spirit. Contrary, an individual's continued submissiveness and inability to set boundaries could also expose them to this spirit. The Jezebel spirit seeks out the vulnerable, preying on their insecurities and nurturing an environment conducive to manipulation, control, and oppression. Shifting from the professional realm, personal relationships can act as a veritable stage for the Jezebel spirit to flourish. If manifesting in a mother, as we discovered with Mary Peterson's story, her influence transforms the family unit into an authoritarian regime. Here, love and compassion go missing, replaced by fear and power struggles. This fortress-like environment, devoid of emotional freedom, becomes a perfect breeding ground for the Jezebel spirit. There's a socio-political aspect too, as seen in Harmony Creek. Rebellion against societal norms, defiance of collective moral code, and polarization of communities can create spiritual disharmony potent enough to draw in the Jezebel spirit. The spirit capitalizes on collective unease and disagreement, finding strength in escalating hostility and discord. Nature and its equilibrium also play a crucial role. Continuous, blatant disregard for nature's balance, the unending thirst to control elements beyond human capacity, all of these can signal the Jezebel spirit. The peculiar occurrences at Harmony Creek may well have been the echo of these ifs, their small neglect leading to substantial consequences. Understanding these paths doesn't necessitate fear. Instead, they wield the power of knowledge, an understanding that paves the way for introspection and evokes cautionary measures. The Jezebel spirit isn't one to challenge, rather it's one to guard against, with understanding, awareness, and the wisdom of knowing what may unconsciously invite it into your world. Recognizing the subtle yet distinct signs of the Jezebel spirit's influence is crucial for understanding the tapestry of its profound manipulation. The signals may vary from overtness to nuanced, observable in varying degrees of intensity across personal, professional, and societal spheres. In personal relationships, a primary mark is an extreme selfishness, an unwavering centering of self-interest that reverberates through actions and decisions. Individuals under Jezebel's influence often display an inflated sense of importance. They disregard the ambitions and feelings of those nearby, making decisions that benefit them, often at the expense of others. A coupled sign is their compulsive need for control and dominance. They are unwaveringly assertive, often crossing into the territory of aggression. This control can be manifested in different ways, ranging from outright domineering behavior to subtle manipulation. It's not limited to big decisions. Instead, it pervades the minutest aspects of everyday life, creating a toxic environment where boundaries are constantly violated. Heightened conflict and chaos are another telltale indication. They are adept at stirring controversies and fueling disputes, often lurking in the background as the confusion unfolds. Whether between family members, within institutions, or larger communities, this impish streak becomes a hallmark of their presence. Pay heed to any radical changes in demeanor and attitude. A warm, jovial person may suddenly turn cold and unfeeling. A compassionate friend may become detached and insensitive, and an empathetic leader may turn into an overbearing dictator. These transitions, seemingly inexplicable, often point towards the Jezebel spirit's encroachment. The Jezebel spirit can also birth a profound rebellion against norms, tradition, and collective moral code. Outward defiances, blatant disruptions, or subtle underminings all could serve as manifestations of its work. Along the same lines, a pervasive sense of lawlessness and amorality amongst a group or community may well suggest the spirit's presence, a dangerous cocktail of discord, defiance, and upheaval. Lastly, look out for spiritual apathy or antipathy in individuals. This can often express as a blatant disregard for the sanctity of spiritual spaces, practices, or rituals that were previously followed deeply. It might extend to challenging spiritual authorities or nurturing religious complexities that fuel tension in the spiritual community. Learning to spot these signs is like acquiring a compass to navigate the labyrinth of the Jezebel spirit's influence. It aids in distinguishing the ordinary from the influenced, the explainable behavior from the inexplicably altered. Awareness gives birth to vigilance, and vigilance in turn serves as the primary defense against the insidious encroachments of the Jezebel spirit into the precincts of our lives. Though the Jezebel spirit's grip may seem invincible, remember, there's always a beacon of hope that illumines even the darkest corners of the labyrinth. Fighting isn't about brute force and confrontations. It's more about wisdom, understanding, and self-introspection. Here are some valuable insights to spot and potentially liberate oneself from the spectral chains of the Jezebel spirit. The first step in any battle is recognizing the enemy. By understanding its characteristics, you compartmentalize the spirit as an external force, rather than an inherent part of your nature or behavior. Acceptance is the springboard to liberation. Thus, acknowledging the influence of the spirit on the host and accepting the resulting changes exploiting your vulnerability form the primal move towards dismantling the spirit's control. Another potent weapon against the Jezebel spirit is forgiveness. Bitterness, resentment, and unforgiveness provide fertile grounds for this spirit to wreak havoc. Forgiving those who wronged you, and forgiving yourself for the mistakes done, serves as a barrier, a spiritual firewall, blocking the sinister advances of the spirit. Then comes boundary setting. Defining one's personal, emotional, and even spiritual boundaries, and ensuring they are respected by oneself and others, is a key to maintaining a healthy life balance. A person who firmly sticks to their boundaries, understanding the lines they wouldn't let others cross, can repel the magnetism of the Jezebel spirit. Awareness and understanding of one's inherent worth and power are also essential. Believe in your capabilities and carry yourself with a sense of dignity. Resist any attempts to undermine this self-belief or cloud your judgment. This breeds resilience that can halt the undermining tactics of the spirit. To strengthen this resistance, cultivate emotional and spiritual balance. Ensuring your emotions are not volatile and function healthily, and fostering a spiritual life that is anchored in faith, can extend that glowing shield against the spirit. Practices such as meditation, prayer, or any form of spiritual ritual that brings peace and balance can strengthen your guard against Jezebel's spirit. And finally, remember, you're not alone. Seek guidance from trustworthy sources, tap into the support of your community, and don't shy away from seeking professional help, psychological or spiritual, if the situation requires. Collective strength can be a formidable obstacle in the path of the Jezebel spirit. Don't let the darkness overshadow the potential light at the end of the tunnel. With awareness, wisdom, and the tenacity of the human spirit, one can indeed liberate themselves from the demonic chains of the Jezebel spirit. The battle may seem Herculean, but it's certainly winnable when waged on the grounds of enlightenment, power of faith, and personal development. In the endeavor for liberation from the tendrils of the Jezebel spirit, spiritual healing is the compass that directs you towards the Charter of Freedom. Armed with the knowledge of the spirit's tactics and vulnerabilities, let us walk the path to recovery and deliverance. The initial step often revolves around unearthing the spirit's presence through discernment. Tuning into your intuition, acknowledging the voice that speaks of discomfort, and reaching out to spiritual advisors well-versed in identifying these spectral traces are instrumental. An environment conducive to open dialogue about such spiritual maladies fosters this discernment, the inception into a journey of healing. Confessing the presence of the spirit, often under the supervision of a trusted spiritual advisor, can initiate the process of detachment. The act of confession, though seemingly simple, holds immense spiritual weight. It burns away the veil of fear, denial, and shame, illuminating the path of healing. Next, prayer, in its various forms, can act as a firm bastion against the spirit's influence. Engaging in heartfelt prayers, invoking divine intervention, seeking peace and resolve in sacred utterances, can propagate waves of energy potent enough to defragment the spirit's grip. It's crucial to remember that prayer should not only be about exile, but also for the healing of the person entrapped. In conjunction with prayer, fasting is traditionally known to bolster spiritual resolve. Fasting helps to break down egoic barriers, enabling one to connect to their higher self, and thus to the divine energy capable of breaking the bonds of the Jezebel spirit. Practicing affirmations enforces self-worth and strengthens one's inner resolve. Affirmations that echo the sentiments of self-love, compassion, strength, and dignity can mend the psychological aftermath of the spirit's reign. They also serve as an internal compass that prevents any future recurrence of such spiritual invasions. In extreme instances, exorcism might be a legit course of action, supervised by well-trained spiritual practitioners. This spiritually intense ritual aims to command the Jezebel spirit to leave, defying its hold on the host. It's important to remember, though, that exorcism is not a one-stop solution, and is often the culmination of a series of steps intending spiritual liberation. Symbolically, penning down experiences linked to the spirit's influence and then burning the pages can provide a cathartic release. The burning symbolizes the end of the spirit's reign, an act of defiance that signifies taking back control. Your spiritual toolbox, equipped with these strategies, stands you in good stead to combat the Jezebel spirit. Remember, every step taken towards liberation, no matter how minuscule it may seem, chips away at the spirit's stronghold, inching you closer to a world of peace, harmony, and freedom. Through the winding paths of history and the darkened catacombs of the unseen, we've traversed the saga of the Jezebel spirit today. From ancient lore to chilling real-life narratives, our journey has been marked by a shivery thrill and eyes that widened with each revelation. This chilling saga, far from a mere recount of ghostly tales, is an unveiling of knowledge, a seeking of wisdom. We've peered into the shadowy corners of reality, witnessed the personas that lurk within, journeyed through the trails of those affected, and emerged with newfound insight. Together, we've explored this bizarre world, confronted its spectral inhabitants, and most importantly, learned to understand them. But remember, esteemed companions of this spectral journey, each closing tale is but a gateway to the next. Our intricate narratives continue to unfurl, breathing life into the hushed whisperings of the mystical world. So, I entreat you, don't let the music fade into a mere echo. Press the like button, ignite our spirit with your subscription. Your engagement fuels these tales, letting our collective curiosity echo across this channel. Remember, our unity is the spectral light that guides us through the cobwebbed pathways of the unseen. Yet a playful word of caution for those who'd ignore this plea. Stingy fingers from subscribing have been rumored to attract peculiar interest in the spectral realm. Tales suggest a certain magnetic flair attracting supernatural whisperings towards those who hold back. Granted, they are but whispers in the wind, but one can never be too cautious in a world where the mundane and magical intertwine so closely. So before the veil of today's tale falls, go ahead, subscribe, and let the flame of Sundusk Sagas burn vibrantly, warding off any uncalled-for spectral visitations. Until our next journey, keep your minds open, your spirits adventurous, and hearts brave. Happy journeying through the mystical.